What was driving the feeling of I want to start something? Like, where did that come from?
I think it really comes down to my personality of I'm very, I don't know, opinionated, outspoken. I say what I think. And so sometimes that can get you in trouble in some sense, especially growing up. But I've always been, I guess you'd say, I don't like to talk about myself very much, so it's difficult to say, but I'm a natural leader. So even in kindergarten, my mom would get notes home, how was your kid today? And it's like, well, she preferred to tell the whole class how to do their work instead of getting her work done. So
classic.
I mean,
that's a management skill. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like
Delegate.
She's very bossy, and it's like, well, okay, over time, it's like, wow, she has leadership skills. Or, in elementary school, you learn typing, and instead of doing the typing lesson, I was creating rules to the club that I had created. So I got in trouble for, I was typing, but I was creating the outline for what the club would entail that people had to try out for in elementary school.
Love it. I love that we've already cracked the kindergarten box. And one of the shticks that we do here is that we ask you to come up with a foundational story, something that really you have had the opportunity to think back on that memory and really just kind of pull out maybe the direction that you've ended up going so far. So
yeah,
is it kindergarten that this happens, or does this happen sometime later?
I don't know. I think that's when that's just your natural, like, I guess, what is it? Ego and whatever, as a kid, you just kind of do what feels right and you just are. But as I got older, I started realizing that sometimes I would just see things that maybe other people didn't see, and I didn't understand it. So when you're young, straight out of college, you're driven and you're like, oh, I'm going to go do all of these things. Well, a 22-year-old telling the company, we need to do this, and this is what everybody goes, okay, new kid on the block, go sit down, listen more than you talk, and then we'll listen to you in a few years. But really, I've been lucky in a sense that many of the businesses that I've worked for, I've had the opportunity to share my ideas or be able to show, hey, this may be a good pathway for us, or take on leadership positions. So I've been very fortunate in that regard. And I think that's what gave me the, I guess, reduced my risk of going out on my own, because I also thought, okay, well, if somebody is paying me full time to run their business or to be in charge of the entire commercial team, I can do this on my own, and if I'm closing millions of dollars for a company on, a yearly basis, just even a fraction of that in commission would be significantly more than my current salary. So I weighed it out logically that way to say, okay, now I've been in business long enough. I have relationships. Let me share a little bit about my experience with people that I think that I can help, or past clients, or just peers in the industry. And it was amazing because I didn't really have to do any sales to get my first clients. So I've now fully replaced my salary, and I've
congratulations.
Thank you. So that I was quite terrified about that, because we did just buy a house last year in the neighborhood, and it's like, okay, our kids are going to stay in this school, so I'm going to do whatever I can. It's going to work. This will work. So I, by building my client base, I've been able to do that. And it's been wonderful because also people have been reaching out. Hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this other thing that's maybe not even in my wheelhouse? And I'm going from, instead of just consulting on this little piece or finding them, say, a storage facility, to I'm developing their strategy for them and becoming shareholders of these companies. It's a totally different conversation than what I ever thought. And so it's been wonderful, eye-opening. And I would have never known that before taking the leap. Yeah. So my business has really evolved from just, hey, I can do outsourced business development and sales coaching, to I'm kind of partnering up with different businesses and helping them grow. So really that's kind of my new slogan is I help businesses grow.
So
love it.
Yeah, that's badass.